Casey's Corner, introducing you to small businesses in the East Valley. Brought to you by Prosperity North Advisors, a Kendall insurance agency, protecting your prosperity.
Hello everyone, Casey Kendall, Prosperity North Advisors, a Kendall insurance agency, protecting your prosperity. Joining me today on Casey's Corner, Andrew Gartman, Gartman Legal.
Hello.
You are an attorney.
Yeah.
I normally don't like attorneys.
Well,
but
they're necessary.
They are necessary. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself, about Gartman Legal, and how you got started.
Okay. Well, I'm an Arizona native. I grew up in North Phoenix, where Maricopa County sheriffs used to patrol, and they were a bit heavy-handed, so they help instill in me a desire to understand the law and help interpret it and enforce it and make sure they do their job correctly.
Very cool. Okay, so tell us about your practice, who your ideal client is, the type of work that you're taking on, and who you might be seeking.
Sure. So I'm a personal injury attorney. I started practicing law at Robbins and Curtin, which largely focuses on civil rights litigation.
Wow.
Taking on the more difficult cases because the government always tends to have the best lawyers.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
It was, yeah. And like that video we looked at earlier, it's pretty traumatizing. Hard cases, but the families really depend on us to do a good job.
Especially when it involves minors or someone who may not be mentally all there.
Right.
I don't know what the legal term is for that.
Right.
But not mentally acute in what they're making those decisions along the way.
Absolutely. And I learned from my mentor early on. We developed a policy where we will always investigate the loss of a loved one on behalf of a parent.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about a situation like that, like a broad example of going after getting answers for a loved one.
Sure. So negligence happens every day, right? And so, but when it causes someone to die or for a parent to lose a child, the parent naturally is going to have a lot of questions.
Sure.
And going to want to know who caused it and what led to it. And sometimes that helps the grieving process. Sometimes it counteracts it. But that's something that we do. And so when whether it happens on the job or it's a car accident or for example a police officer is involved and ends up using deadly force, the parent is going to have a very hard time getting answers. The Phoenix Police Department, for example, it takes at least 6 months to get a police report from them. And so there's a big struggle for them to understand what led to their child's passing. And so that's where I can get involved. I tend to use the law to get the police report a little quicker, help ask some questions, whether we need to hire a private investigator or not, and those are all costs that I cover on behalf of the family. If we end up filing a lawsuit or getting a settlement, that's great, but I'm always willing to investigate a loss for a parent.
Tell us, so civil rights, that's a very heavy issue. We've seen that, obviously, throughout the last 50 years of American history. We've seen civil rights, I think, evolve in different ways, both positive and negative. But tell us about your ideal client.
Well, I'm a personal injury attorney. Accident, injury, and wrongful death is kind of the broad category. And so the bread and butter of any firm that does personal injury is usually car accidents.
Okay.
And so that's what allows us to stay in business, so we can take on the more difficult cases associated with civil rights or police negligence. And so it's good to keep the car accidents coming in the door. As a trial attorney, we tend to get better results than the attorneys that don't go to trial. You'd be surprised, but a lot of the advertising attorneys don't file lawsuits. They're just more or less glorified insurance adjusters.
Wow.
Yeah, and so when the insurance company knows the lawyer doesn't file a lawsuit, they're clearly not going to give them the better offer, right? So you're leaving money on the table by going to the lawyers that don't file lawsuits. And a lot of the advertising attorneys are those types of attorneys.
So that's what really is separating you from someone you might see on TV that
Absolutely.
points at the camera and yells at you and says, "Call me, I'll maximize
Absolutely.
your profit."
Yep. The good attorneys don't advertise because they get enough referrals to stay in business. And so if you're looking for an attorney, always get a referral. Always. It's so important. Because the bad attorneys, they don't have to do good work because they're advertising.
Sure.
And that's how they're getting their clients. Where me and 1,000 other lawyers, we just depend on referrals, and so we have to do a better job.
Where's your office located? Is there a specific area of Arizona that you're concentrating on? Can you practice throughout the entire state?
Yeah, I'm licensed by the state of Arizona, so my clients are Kingman, Flagstaff, all the way down to Tucson or Yuma. And ever since COVID, we pretty much handle everything virtually nowadays. If you want to come to the office, we can do that. I'm in Central Phoenix and in Scottsdale, so I'm pretty much all over the place. But these days, I tend to only meet my clients when I'm handing them a settlement check.
Wow.
So yeah, I'd pass them in a grocery store and wouldn't even know it.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting. So,
Andrew, what is the best way for someone to get a hold of you and retain your services?
Yeah, well, anytime someone has a legal question, I tend to still answer my office's phone. It rings nonstop, and so during the day, I'm pretty much just talking to people about their situations. You search Gartman Legal on the internet, you'll find me. My phone number, 623-738-5706, and you'll get me 9 times out of 10.
Perfect. So I will make sure that all of that contact information is in there. Andrew, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
It's been great.
If you'd like to be featured on Casey's Corner, please like, subscribe, share this video. Thanks very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.